Today, let's get into a little psychological case study on something I think we all know a little too well. That endless cycle of late-night scrolling that somehow leaves you feeling both wired and exhausted. We're going to break down the cognitive loop that keeps us glued to our phones and look at a really simple but powerful way to break free and actually get some rest.
So, let's set the scene. You know the one. It's late, the room is dark, and the only light is from a phone screen. And the way she's scrolling, well, it's not like she's looking for anything specific. It's that destinationless scroll. Psychologically speaking, this is a state of pure passive consumption, kind of like a digital drift designed to fill the silence.
And this leads us to the million-dollar question, right? Why is it so hard to just stop? Our bodies are screaming for sleep. We logically know we should put the phone down, but we just don't. What's the powerful feedback loop going on here that makes us act against our own best interests? That's what we're going to unpack. For the sake of our little analysis, let's give this behavior a name. We'll call it the 11 p.m. scroll. It's a very specific pattern of overstimulation, and honestly, it has less to do with what's on the screen and way more to do with what we're trying to avoid in the quiet of our own heads. Think about the kind of stuff you see during one of these scrolls. It's all over the place, right? A funny dog video, a headline you only read halfway through, a recipe you save but know you're never going to make. From a psychological angle, this is basically a dissociative habit. Each little tidbit of content is a tiny stimulus hit, designed to keep your mind busy so it doesn't have to be alone with its own thoughts. So now it's, almost midnight? And there's this huge disconnect happening. The body's need for rest is being totally overruled by this psychological need to keep scrolling. You might even see that little screen time reminder pop up, the one you set when you were feeling more rational, and you just swipe it away without a second thought. It's a clear battle between what your body needs and what your mind is hooked on. But then, something can change. A simple, conscious action. Let's call it the 60-second intervention. All it is a deliberate interruption, a way to break the spell of the scroll. And you'll see, the real power here is just how simple it is. And yeah, the number itself is everything. 60 seconds. That's it. It's practically nothing. It's shorter than most of the videos she was just watching. And because the bar is so low, there's almost no psychological reason not to try it. This isn't some huge life overhaul, it's just 1 minute. So here is the entire protocol, all 3 steps. Step 1, get rid of the stimulus. Put the phone face down. Step 2, physical stillness. Just lie there in the dark. Now step 3 is the hardest part. Just do nothing. Resist that urge to fill the space. The goal isn't to have a perfectly clear mind or anything. It's just to have 60 seconds with no new input. So what's the first thing that happens? Well, there's a huge shift in awareness. After being totally flooded with digital noise, your mind starts to reconnect with your physical self. This is what's called a return to somatic awareness. Basically, you start actually noticing your own body and your surroundings again. First, it might be a sound, the hum of the ceiling fan. It's been on the whole time, of course, but now without some video blaring, you can actually hear it. Your brain is looking for something to focus on and it latches on to the little details of the room. And then maybe you notice a physical feeling, the actual sensation of the mattress supporting your body. The scroll keeps us trapped in our heads, but this stillness brings your awareness back down into the physical reality of just being in a bed. And the last piece of this puzzle is that really granular sensory detail, like the specific warmth of the sheet against your skin. It's such a simple, comforting feeling that was there all along, but you just couldn't perceive it over all the noise from the device. And this right here is the core diagnosis. The scroll doesn't just keep you awake, it literally makes you deaf to your own body. All those signals for rest, your heavy limbs, your tired eyes, your body was sending them, but the communication line was jammed with digital static. That 60-second pause, it just clears the line.
Okay, so you've reconnected with your body, but what about the mind? What happens when all those racing, anxious thoughts inevitably pop up now that it's quiet?
So the technique that's happening here is called mindful observation, and this is such a critical skill. The goal is not to have a totally blank mind or to stop your thoughts, and trust me, that's just a recipe for frustration. The real goal is to change your relationship with those thoughts, to kind of untangle yourself from them. There's this great metaphor that explains it perfectly. Getting hooked by a thought, about that big presentation tomorrow or an email you forgot to send, that's like jumping into a car and letting it drive you away down a spiral of anxiety. But mindful observation, that's choosing to just stand on the footpath.
You see the car, the thought, you acknowledge it, and you just watch it drive by. You don't have to go with it.
So after you've re-engaged with your body and you've started to disentangle from those anxious thoughts, the final phase can begin. And this part isn't something you do, it's a release. It's the natural outcome of creating the right conditions for rest.
And this is the beautiful paradox of sleep, isn't it? You can't try to fall asleep. It's a state of surrender. By putting down the phone, listening to her body, and just observing her thoughts without judgment, she took down all the barriers she'd put up. Sleep wasn't something she achieved. It was just the natural process that took over once she finally got out of its way.
So we'll end our little case study with a question for you to think about. That endless scroll creates so much digital noise that it can drown out our most basic signals from our bodies and our minds. By creating just 60 seconds of quiet, you might be really surprised by what your own body has been trying to tell you. So the question is, what are you not hearing?